At the Second Blessing thrift store, you're likely to find some good stuff, some good discount prices, and a good man with a great story to tell.
Yeah, because what we do now when somebody gets released, what they do is come here and we give them clothes and stuff, get them jump-started.
Bob Lowry launched his thrift store a few years ago after leaving prison and his old life behind him. He uses the store to help newly released inmates, single mothers from women's shelters, and anyone who wants a new start in life, a chance. That's what God gave him when he had nothing else.
I was accustomed to being incarcerated from time to time, but generally it was a slap on the wrist. You'd be out in a few months, whatever. But this time, having received a 3-year sentence for habitual DWI, I weren't going to be coming home for a while. And my choices had put me there.
While behind bars, Bob gave his life to Christ, but he says there was still a problem.
I could live up to God's standards, so to speak, but I could not live up to my mama's.
A few days later, Bob was working in the prison yard and a truck pulled up from Joyce Meyer Ministries.
So I went inside and I told the guard, the sergeant, I said, "Hey buddy, Joyce Meyer's out there. She's got some books for us. She wants to drop off." And he, of course, scratches his head and said, "I don't think Joyce Myers is in that truck."
We first met Bob in 2005. He came up on stage with Joyce and shared his story at a conference in North Carolina.
Behold, I didn't know who Joyce Myers was at the time. As a matter of fact, I thought she was in the truck handing the bags to me. Yeah, she wasn't. It was somebody else.
Battlefield of the Mind gave Bob steps to take to change his old way of thinking, which gave him a new way of life. He'd visited several prisons, encouraging inmates with his testimony.
I'd go in there, I'd introduce myself. I'm Bob Lowry, 0388736. That ain't my zip code either, fellas. The old timers would look at them youngsters and say, "You might want to pay attention to him. He's been here before."
There's no doubt that Bob can talk the talk, but it's his walk that has had the greatest impact, especially upon a friend that knew him at his worst.
Well, when he come to the prison to pick me up for the first time, he said, "There's something different about you." I said, "Man, what you talking about?" He said, "No, you got a different look or something. It's a smile." I said, "Let me tell you, Bob, Jesus Christ has changed my life." He said, "Yeah, right, Bob Lowry. I remember you when you went in."
That friend, Bobby Watson, built this racetrack. And with every challenge that comes with building a business, Bob Lowry was by his friend's side praying.
He said, "Bob Lowry," he said, "You know, I've been watching you." I said, "What you watching me for, knucklehead?" He said, "Because I just wanted to see." He said, "But I can see that you're the real deal." And he said, "I just wanted to let you know that."
He left his entire facility to Bob, simply because he knew Bob would use it for good.
We've had the National Day of Prayer out here. We've had gospel music festivals out here. We've had prayer rallies during the pandemic. No matter what you do in work, if you're a carpenter, you got people around you, use carpentry to tell them about Jesus Christ.
At Bob's most hopeless moment, he cried out to God, and today God uses him to give others hope. His mama would be proud.
I said, "Mama, what did you do when I was so rebellious and so, hard to manage?" She said, "Son, I turn you over to the Lord. Now go get me some sweet tea." It was as simple as that.